Hi guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the new SilverStone Vortez FT04. Now if you've seen the SilverStone Raven 4, you perhaps own one or you may well have even seen our video on it, then you'll notice that there is some key similarities between the Raven 4 and the FT04. Now both of these cases actually use the same chassis, so the internal layout and pretty much the feature set are very much the same. The major difference though with FT04 is this front panel and the top panel. Both of them have been engineered to have a thick aluminium, so that gives you the luxury feel and the luxury touch. Just the general quality of the case is slightly better, and we've also got noise damping material in key areas in order to keep those noise levels to an absolute minimum. So FT04 adopts this very sleek and professional appearance, and it also has an inverted motherboard tray for a unique take on computer case design. So as you can see, FT04 is a very intriguing and interesting case. It's got plenty of features to explore and to look at, and we're now going to jump in and take a good look at this new offering. Okay, we're going to start then by taking a look at the very front of FT04, and as you can see we have this very nice metal panel, and this is actually a one-piece aluminium construction, and it is very substantial, so it's nice and thick to help dull out those noise levels from the inside of the case. And we've got these cutouts here, these streamlined type of effect running down the edges. It looks really nice. SilverStone logo of course in the very center there. Now this is actually a door. As you can see, this opens out from, it pivots from the left hand side. We've got magnets just to help it close like that, and as you can just pick up, you may be able to pick that up just on the very floor there isn't a great deal of clearance, so it can touch if it's bubbling like the floor is here. It's only a minor thing, but this is a huge, vast improvement on the Raven 4, which we criticised for that very flimsy plastic front panel. So this metal panel is a massive improvement, really do like it. Now on the inside there we've got foam insulation, and that just helps to keep those noise levels to an absolute minimum, because we've obviously got some rather big cooling fans at the front there, those air penetrators, which we're going to take a look at in a second. Now of course, opening this front door we have the access there to dual 5 1/4 bays. Those are closed off, but they are removable from the outside of the case. And just below this we have these dual fan control knobs, which help to manage the speed of those cooling fans at the front there. And those are completely variable, so we go from low all the way to high. Now covering these fans we of course have this filter, which is completely removable. You can take that out and give that a good clean, because obviously those air penetrators are positioned to be intakes, so they'll generate quite a lot of dust with the pressure. And that features the high flow technology, so that is something that SilverStone are very proud about, and you can read about that on their website. And as you can see there, we've got the air penetrator AP182s, which are 180mm in specification. Now these are going to operate between 500 and 2000 RPM. And these are really going to be the primary source for driving airflow across the system. We don't have any additional cooling fans aside from these. Now the front panel controls are actually split into two different sections. On the right hand side here we have the dual USB 3 ports, so those are via the internal motherboard header. And then we've got the headphone and microphone jacks for your audio. And then on the left hand side we have the power and the reset button. Up at the top of FT04 we've got another aluminium panel, and then towards the back there we have this removable cover, which I'll take out, and there you can see we have a dust filter integrated on the inside there. As obviously we've got the power supply, which is positioned to be at the top of the case. The fan is going to face the top, so there's going to be a build up at the top with the air pressure, and that's going to get rather dusty, so it's nice to be able to take that out and give it a good clean. Now this top panel here is removable. You need to remove both side panels, which I've already done, and there's two thumb screws which are usually screwed into the back of here. And after that we can slide it out, as you can see here. And you can see there, you can just gauge how thick that is. That is rather substantial. It's very, very nicely designed panel as well. It's very sturdy. And you can see there on the inside, which is positioned over the optical drive bay. We have some more foam insulation that's just going to help with the noise damping to help any noise escaping from the case, dull it out. We're now going to take a look at the side panels. Now, with the inverted motherboard tray being present, we've obviously got everything on the opposite side compared to a traditional tower. Now, on the reverse side, behind the motherboard tray, that side panel is completely solid, so that's solid steel. There is no significant features, but on the inside, we have the insulation foam for that noise damping. And on this prominent side, you can see that we've got a large perspex window, and that allows you a preview inside the system over those key components such as your graphics card, your CPU cooler and your motherboard. Now, to get these side panels off, there's 2 thumb screws on either side. I've taken one of them out already just to make it a little bit quicker. Just unscrew that. These just simply come off very easy, and you can see that this side panel is extremely sturdy. It's doesn't really flex. It's solid steel, very good quality, and we've also got some more noise damping material along 2 edges there, and that's just going to give you a bit more noise reduction for the system. And with that side panel off, you can really see just how unique FT04 is with its layout. That motherboard is obviously on the reverse side, but it's also rotated. And inside we can house up to eATX motherboards. We've actually got our ATX test system inside, and this just gives you a rough idea of what to expect in terms of your clearance and general configuration. Okay, we're now going to move in for a close look at all those features on FT04, and we're going to start by taking a look at the power supply unit. Now, as I've said previously, this is positioned at the very top of the case due to the orientation and the layout, and we're pleased to say that there are some rubber strips underneath that power supply just to help cushion it, prevent any scratching, and also for those anti-vibration properties. And when you're installing that unit, it's important that you pop in the CPU power cable before you sit the unit into the compartment, because otherwise that cable, it won't fit down to the port at the very bottom of the case. Directly below this we have the PCI expansion slot covers, and we've got a total of 8 there. Each of them have the ventilation, but unfortunately we don't have the thumb screws, so it's just a standard screw, so you're going to need to get out your screwdriver. But a great thing that SilverStone have included here, they've integrated into the frame of the case these circular cutouts, and these work directly in line with the screws there. You can see just makes it a little bit easier, as those are set further back. It would be difficult to get in there, so nice that they've thought about that and they've included it. And even further down there we've got the honeycomb mesh and the allocation for a 120mm cooling fan. So this is optional, SilverStone don't include one, and this is the only additional fan spot inside FT04. Now, at the bottom of the case we've got the hard drive storage, and on the right hand side we have this cage which can take a single 3.5 inch drive and at the same time 2 2.5 inch drives. And you can see there we've got a tool-free mechanism attached to the cage, and we're just going to demonstrate how this works. We've got a 3.5 inch drive here, just need to line that up, slide that in, and you can see there we've got a latch on the very edge there, and when we've got that in place it just fixes across the edge. You can see we've also got this cord. Now, pulling this cord allows you to retrieve the drive, so it's a real nice, efficient way to get your hard drive storage into the case. Placed on the roof of that cage, we've got a handy little device which SilverStone have included. This is a CPU cooler support. This helps to alleviate, take away that pressure and that strain that a big CPU cooler can have on the motherboard. And it is adjustable, so depending on where your CPU cooler sits, then you can obviously move it, adjust it, and I really do think that this is an excellent feature to have. Further along towards the front of the case we've got some more hard drive storage. In that upper hard drive cage we can store up to 5 3.5 inch drives, and in the lower cage, again just like the other cage, we can store 1 3.5 inch and at the same time 2 2.5 inch. And you can see there we've got the tool-free mechanism which you just need to pull the cord. It does take a little bit more force since at the very back there are some ports to make it hot swappable. And it's worth mentioning at this stage that at the bottom there, SilverStone have furnished the entire section with that noise damping material. Now for your 5¼ devices, such as an optical drive, these go at the very front here. There's 2 bays, and you're going to need to use a screwdriver for those, as there is no tool-free mechanism. Now for the graphics card, we have another weight support, and this just helps to prevent any strain occurring on the motherboard. Obviously, just like the CPU cooler, graphics cards are getting rather substantial in size, particularly the high-end offerings with the aftermarket coolers. They can be quite heavy, and that pressure on the PCI Express slot can be quite worrying. And you can see here the bracket, it's plastic, it's variable on horizontal, so depending on the size of your card you can adjust that. And we've also got the mounting holes there, so depending on what slot you use you can obviously adjust that too. And SilverStone include another 2 of these brackets so that you can make use of a triple card configuration. We're now going to explore the component clearance, and starting with the CPU cooler, here you can see we've got a maximum of 165mm in total height. Here we've got the Noctua NH-U12P, which is 158mm, and most flagships nowadays tend to be around 160. So you've got ample space for high-end cooling. For the graphics card clearance, we have approximately 12 to 12.5 inches in the total length. Here we've got the XFX 7970DD version, which is 10.5 inches, and you can see there plenty of space for the high-end offerings. And the great thing about this case is the fact that if you go for a multi-GPU configuration, rather than fill down through the PCI Express slots, you're going to move up, because the configuration is upside down, so you don't have any collision with the hard drive cages. And for cable management allocation, we have approximately 2.5 centimeters of clearance between the motherboard tray and the side panel, so that gives you adequate space for keeping those cables nice and tidy, tucked away and nicely arranged behind there. And we've got the cutouts and brackets and channels too. Now in regards to water cooling, SilverStone from the very outset state that this case is not really designed to take custom kits. You can go to different products within their range in order to take advantage of that type of feature. Nevertheless, we have got some allocation at the very front here. We can house a 360mm radiator, but it does need to be the thinner type, so you're talking 30mm. This is a G charger, which is 60mm, and unfortunately it doesn't fit inside because of these oversized end parts. So if you're going for 360 at the front, you need to choose a 30mm thickness. And I've got another radiator here, which is the G charger, and this is again a 60mm, but this will fit obviously inside. And before we actually fit that, we've got these brackets, and these are required in order to transform this front section into a 120mm radius. Obviously we've got the 180mm cooling fans, so the gap is too big there. So I've installed 2 of those, and obviously that will now line up because we've got mounting holes there, so that fits in there perfectly. So in a roundabout way, we can house water cooling at the very front here, the radiators of different sizes. Okay, for our last clip, I'm going to show you how loud those case fans are inside FT04. We've got those AP182s, which are 180mm in specification. We've got 2 at the front, and they're capable of 500 to 2000 RPM. So the low setting is obviously the 500, and then right up to the 2000 on the high setting. So I'm going to go ahead and power the system up. So to start with, we're on the low setting. This is 500 RPM. And now we're going to go right up to the high setting. So this is 2000 RPM. Alright, well that should have given you an idea of what to expect. As you can see on the high setting, the airflow, the pressure is tremendous. Just putting your hand in front of there, you can really feel the force. It's amazing. Obviously 2000 RPM, you're going to expect quite a lot of noise from an 180mm cooling fan. But the beauty with this is we've got the variable knobs, so you haven't got low and then high, so you haven't got 500 and then 2000. You've actually got the parts in between, so you can go from 500 to 2000, so you can effectively go to 1000 RPM if you want to, just to kind of find that sweet spot. Okay guys, well that pretty much concludes our video today. We've been taking a look at the new Vortez FT04, and hopefully this has given you a bit of a taster for what to expect from the features and the characteristics. Now, rather than being a successor to the FT03, this is more of a follow-on from the FT02, and personally I find the layout really interesting. I like the fact that it offers a twist on the standard case design. It's a little bit quirky. The build quality in this case is exceptional, as you've probably seen. Great aluminium front panel, aluminium top panel, thick side panels, and also the finish inside, and obviously the countless features inside, just top notch. And the inclusion of the CPU cooler and the graphics card support is a particular thing that I really do like. It's been a concern for me since I've been building PCs. The fact that the motherboard is sat upright on its side, and the various ports and sockets have quite a lot of strain and pressure on them. So I imagine that many of you probably had the same concerns. So these types of features are very much welcomed. Now, as you can appreciate, the cooling potential in this case is on another level. It's exceptional. Those AP182s at the front there are significant, that they're very well known in the communities out there. Great for the air pressure, pushing that airflow across the system and out through the back. And of course we've got those fan controllers which you can vary, and obviously can find that sweet spot, that great balance between noise and performance, so that's really good. If you're wanting to know what the thermal performance is like, jump over to the link in the description. Our testing is over there. So that pretty much rounds things off for us. If you've liked this video, if you found it useful, then make sure you do hit that like button. If you're a new watcher, I would appreciate if you could hit the subscription button. And that's it for me, guys. Take care, and I'll see you very soon.